3, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody, to SQW 31 Summer Exposure. I am Dolly Demovsky. I am joined, as usual, by John Keogh.
Hey, everybody. I suppose that an episode in August, we might have to call it SQW 30 whatever, heat exhaustion.
I like that. I like that. Wait, hold on. I'm Dolly. I'm back, Demovsky, after being away for like what seemed like a month.
Mm-hmm.
John,
the champ,
Kehoe, and JJ.
Former champ.
I like former champ. That's actually a pretty good nickname.
Former champ.
How you? Well, maybe not. We don't know. We'll have to find out in a second. How are you guys doing? Good.
Oh, great.
That's good.
We had great weather here finally for a week, and then the weekend came and it's rain. So
we had this giant microphone is in my face. I just put a little audio blocker thingy, the sock, on there. So I'm just seeing if it'll do anything for me. Our weather has been up and down. I was over at in LA for E3 about a week ago, and it's always hotter here in Michigan that week that I'm in LA for E3. So you'd think it would be there. You think California weather is supposed to be really hot, but not when I'm out there. E3 is always semi-cool, so that's all right. I dig that. And of course, the rain. It's always fun. We're going to have a good show. We're nearing our 1-year anniversary, which is pretty crazy. I think July sometime is our 1-year anniversary, so that'll be cool. You guys have had to deal with me for a whole year. I feel so sorry for you two gents. So maybe we'll do like a 1-year retrospective. We'll call it the fun year anniversary. How does that sound? So we have some fun stuff to talk about today. We're going to cover everything from Glow over on Netflix, some of the pay-per-view results, and some funny, interesting information from wrestlers that came out of E3. But I want to dive into some of the pay-per-view results of the last couple pay-per-views, actually, because you guys had a belt on the line while I was out.
We did.
Let's go over that. So why don't you kick us off, JJ?
All right. So, I forget what the pay-per-view title was now at this point. Was it?
That was Extreme Rules.
Mm-hmm.
Extreme Rules. It was Extreme Rules, wasn't it? Money in the Bank is still in my mind.
Right.
I almost called it Money in the Blank.
Money in the Blank is pretty cool. I like that.
Money in the Blank.
But we basically that entire show relied on 3 matches for us.
Yep.
For that championship, now excuse me while I get our list of matches that we have here. So we chose for the #1 contendership for that particular card in that multi-man match. We both chose Seth Rollins, and boy, we were super wrong on that one.
Yeah.
So Joe ended up winning that,
which is pretty cool. I'm actually excited because it seems like he's finally getting the push.
One ended up winning that one, so that worked out pretty good in the end. We both chose The Miz to retain his title.
Yeah.
Which made the most sense, and it is exactly what happened. So no surprises there. And we both said that Sheamus and Cesaro were gonna get the tag team belts in that match, and that's exactly what happened. So we did
pretty good.
We did pretty good. Then that's when you split. We had the Bayley and Alexa match for the women's championship. So, John, you went with Alexa.
I did.
And I went with Bayley.
Good choice, John.
I'm telling you.
So
that was the kendo. That was the kendo stick on a pole match.
Kendo stick on a pole match. So
the pole on a pole match.
Yeah.
Pole on a pole match. So, that was all John on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a terrible match too, but that's it.
It was a terrible, poorly paced match. Just everything about it was just off. The thing that they said with Bayley, is she like that sort of extreme wrestler? Nope.
Nope, not at all.
Nope, not at all. But then we get to the mixed tag match, where I chose the Sasha Banks team and you chose the Alicia Fox team.
Mm-hmm.
And so, thusly, I got that one because the Sasha Banks team won. So it all everything rested on the shoulders of the cruiserweight division in this particular card. I went with Austin Aries. John went with Neville. I made him. I convinced him otherwise in the middle of the decision making. I believe to go with Neville. And that was the right call because Neville, Austin Aries betrayed me.
Oh man, not a good week so far for you. These results aren't shaping up for you, JJ.
Aries made some poor choices in that match.
Yeah, Aries guaranteed that he lost that match. Like, he just finishing moves outside the ring and all sorts of good stuff on that particular match. So with that, I lose my title. Austin Aries cost me my title. Champion since WrestleMania.
Wow.
Back home. Yeah, the thing that swayed me on that decision was who was next, and I figured Tozawa was the only fresh face to appear in the division, assuming Aries didn't turn heel at some point rather quickly, and and that seems to be where we're going.
Yeah. Yeah. That seems to be exactly where we're at now. So you made the right call 100%.
Look at the shine on that sucker. Yeah.
A lot of reflection.
So the that led up into the that was 3 weeks ago, and then last week was Money in the Bank. Now we didn't have a show, so for a few weeks actually, with a lot of stuff going on. But Money in the Bank did happen last week, and you still can't hinder the gender.
No.
Boy, no, you cannot.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a good spot to sort of review the show a bit. Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead, John. I'll let you cover this one.
Well, I don't have all the match results in front of me, but I will say that the show in general, while I thought the pace of most of the matches was quite good, I thought the wrestling was good. Like, some of them were pretty exciting matches, but the finishes were just the drizzling shits all around.
And there goes our clean rating for iTunes. Yeah. I'm just kidding.
I said spits. Not yeah. It was. I just felt just down on every single one, and not on a my favorite wrestler didn't win, I'm so mad. It's more of the.
I have the results in front of me now. If we need to.
Yeah. If you want to hit a few of those real quick.
So the dark match, or the pre-show match, was the reunion of the Hype Brothers versus the Colognes. So that was so Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley beat the Colognes in the pre-show. So, and they're already in the front line for the title. Like, Zack Ryder's been back for like a week and he's already going for the tag title. You booted the show off with the women's Money in the Bank match,
which was the first, right?
The first ever women's Money in the Bank match.
Yeah, that's a topic point for a little bit after we get through the results real quick.
Yeah, I mean, it was the way they kicked off the show, and it's all anyone could talk about for the rest of the show. So there was nothing they could do to sort of help save the show in the end, kind of situation.
Rest of the week.
Yeah, it was.
But it was such a poorly booked finish. Like, there was a lot of ways to go about James Ellsworth sort of interfering in that match. But to have him be the one to physically climb the ladder, physically detach the briefcase, and just, hand it to Carmella was the 100% wrong way. Like there were very few ways to have booked that match the worst possible way, but they found it. Like, like
well, I mean,
like he should have been bait more than anything. Like,
yeah.
If you wanted to get him involved in the match, have him climb the other side of the ladder or something and be bait in the match or something to help Carmella. But to have him literally win the match, like,
yeah, it's. I mean, I see where they're the heat they were trying to draw.
Yeah,
but it
was fun watching it because the crowd was like super into it for a second.
Yeah,
like they were cheering for it to happen, and when it's like once they realized what they were cheering for, they were like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, it's. I guess maybe it's the kind of thing you might see on the second or third women's Money in the Bank match. You know, something down the road or something like that, but not with the first one that they actually, you know, built it up as something important quite well going into this thing, and well, this really put a sour note on it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you know, that's just been their MO for these big important matches, kind of thing. Because remember that Hell in a Cell match was booked poorly too. So, so like we're you know, they're batting 1,000 in this particular category of poorness, but yeah, just it left a bad taste in everyone's mouth and will continue to. Like, there's no cleaning that. Like, you ruined it, and it doesn't matter that you're doing another one.
No.
Like, that was the big announcement they made on Tuesdays, that they're going to hold the second ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match at SmackDown on Tuesday. So
this coming Tuesday.
When I got that alert across on my phone, I started laughing out loud because it's just, it's so silly to already be announcing the second ever Money in the Bank women's ladder match. Like,
it cheapens the first one, and from a fan standpoint. So I actually watched this part. It was Father's Day here in the U.S., and so watching that was actually a way to kind of unwind for the evening. And I really want to see that match and wanted to see it turn out well. But yeah, again, it ended up being the only thing people talked about, not only on the pay-per-view but on Twitter and on social media. Is just people were just kind of soured, and that led into a lot of the rest of the show, because that sour feeling kind of never really went away, at least from the viewers and the fans.
Yeah. Well, and the booking of the show didn't help that either. Like, there was nothing to make you thrilled going forward either. So like,
to bring you back up
out of the gate was the returning New Day versus the Usos, and that match ends with the Usos just walking away.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I mean, poor ending.
Yeah, and the match was fun. It was entertaining. It was a little sloppy, but it was entertaining, and you know, the Usos were being real nasty heels, kicking you know, Kofi's derriere quite well, and well, we're out of here. See ya. Like, well,
see ya. Just walk off. Yeah. And that was like, you don't, like, that's a heel move you do when, like, you're more firmly implanted in that, you know, like, they haven't really earned the right to be that type of heel yet. Like, they need to sort of, you have to be, like, a very particular type of you have to be the Miz to really pull that off right now. Like, you know, like, but right now, that's not the characters they've developed. It's like cowards, you know. They're just jerks. Like, so it was bad. And
I mean, it's the kind of thing you do on free TV in a match that wasn't that competitive, and then for the payoff on the
pay-per-view match later on or something. Like, like, but your next match was Naomi versus Lana, and like Lana's second ever wrestling match for the championship. So
that I was getting worried there that she was going to win that, Lana. I mean,
there was a bit of that. Like, she wasn't miserable as a wrestler, but like still clearly green. Like, like, you know, there's like, okay, maybe, like, you know, with some years under her, you know, she might be able to be seen as a competitor, but like,
I thought her performance. I mean, her facial expressions were really good.
Yeah,
she really emoted very well, and her suplexes were quite good. But like the standard punches and kicks, not great.
Just the moves that you do in between, like holds and stuff, like you know, ropes wasn't that great kind of situation.
No,
and you know, it's she should be in developmental a little longer if they're going to make her a wrestler, but you know, you can't do that now. So that's where we're at. Like, she's just a wrestler now, and so she's going to get her paces on TV, which is never good.
That's right.
But you know, maybe she'll turn it around, but I don't see her being a major competitor ever. She's just gonna fade away as a competitor. Once Rusev is back, I can see them just slowly putting them back together.
When is he? Is he coming back? What is it?
Anytime now, I think.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, he's not back yet, so clearly they're waiting for something kind of situation. Like,
let's get past.
He's ready to be back.
Yeah, let's get past something before he comes in.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be thrust right into the top scene. I don't think he'll come in as, you know, lower mid card Rusev.
Yeah, United States champion Rusev out the right out the So, just like, you know, once the Jinder Mahal thing runs its course is probably when you get Rusev in full force.
Right after
Jinder Mahal, that was
before we get to that, Maria Kanellis and Maria and Mike Kanellis both came out. I guess she's making her return, right?
Yeah. Yep. With the like that they have him taking the Kanellis name.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was a bad segment, but it was not expected. So.
Yeah, it didn't go over well with my crowd who was here watching it with me live. I mean, I think that the idea will be fine, but I think they need to. It was odd that they weren't on SmackDown on television the following show.
Right.
Like to think about that for a minute, that they paid both of them to come in to do that segment, and then that was it. Like that was the extent of it. They didn't pay off on it on Tuesday or anything. It was just
no follow-up, nothing.
Yeah. And you know, Mike Bennett isn't exactly, you know, a household name, so and Maria was never huge in the WWE, so it's like a weird segment for the current audience kind of situation. So like, they don't get, like, how many people in that crowd do you think don't get the joke that he's taken her name? Like, until like Bradshaw mentioned it afterwards, like nobody got that right away. So like, the people in the arena aren't going to react to that in any way, shape, or form. Like, it was a bad sort of, you know, segment for your average fan. So I don't know where they take that storyline. Like, just Miz and Maurice times 1,000. Like.
Well, then the next match, Jinder
and Randy, which with all sorts. They announced, they showed all of those legends sitting at ringside before the match. I can't imagine anything happening to any of them during this match.
Yeah, and again, I thought it was better than the last Orton Jinder match.
It's true.
At least pace wise, I thought it was better. Like, and Jinder felt a little more comfortable being in there. And I kind of wish Jinder had gotten into Randy's father's face a little more, you know. Rather than the other guys, but the finish was almost exactly the same, unfortunately.
Like, straight, like, right down to like tossing the Singh brothers like they were made out of paper onto the announce table. Like, it was sort of like, safe. It was super safe. And it was just like, just do the match again because Randy Orton, we're leading to something else other than what we have to do right now kind of situation. Like, I don't know.
Well, it seems like they're going for a third, one more match, a third one, like a.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would with a finish like that, you have to as well. Like that's your only choice. But like, then what? Like, it feels like they're saving it for, Jinder versus Cena kind of situation. Like that's the end game, because that's what Cena does. He like beats up the evil foreigners because he's Captain America. So it's unfortunate. I wonder how that's doesn't. It's so weird that they lean on that stuff so often, and it's like they forget that they are worldwide companies. So when you it only plays in America when John Cena is beating up he's Russian. Well, you have a ton of Russian fans. You know that, right? Like him being Russian makes him the bad guy, except in one of the countries where you're actually airing this. Like,
yeah, I think it'd be interesting
super weird.
Be interesting to hear the Hindi commentary. If that should come to pass, how they call the Cena eventual beatdown.
It's gonna be really weird, like to watch that unfold again. That storyline again with John Cena. Like, nobody's gonna care, but they're gonna push it so hard.
And everybody keeps saying they've got to. If you really want the WWE to continue going forward, you got to try to avoid booking that.
Yeah. Now, on the other hand, the Cena return videos have all shown that he's now free agent John Cena.
Yeah.
So
they're really playing that up. So
so that implies some other possibilities, I suppose, assuming that they could come to pass.
Yeah.
I doubt he'll be fighting Roman Reigns or somebody, but on Raw. But who knows?
Boy. Could you imagine the crowd reaction to that match?
Oh yeah, I think they would cheer. I think they would cheer Cena. I think they would cheer Cena.
I think they would.
Yeah.
I think you could. It would be really hard to get them out of the Cena sucks chance still, but yeah, they would be cheering Cena. The next match on the card was Breezango versus the Ascension in a non.
Just a tag team match,
where it was revealed that they were the ones that trashed their office or whatever, and it's just throwaway match for no reason, just to sort of
short match too, really short match.
Yeah, the Ascension just looks so bad.
They had that. The match was so short, but I found that the actual pinfall was. It sounded like it was only a 2 count, and then said, "Hey, they won," and they even screwed up the clean finish.
Yeah, like you wonder, what the booking decision on that match was. Like, why do it? Like, what was the point? Like,
I think it was
a quick fill.
I think it was to have a Fashion Files. That was the only. It was a means to that end, I think.
Yeah. It was like. It was probably supposed to be like a pre-show match, but then they figured out a way to shove Zack Ryder onto the card, and then they just let's just do it anyways. We'll just put it in there while we get everyone set up in the back for the ladder match or whatever. I don't know. Just like a quick 5-minute thing what was it? It was 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
Oof.
That was
wow.
Match time.
Wow, that's short.
That is super. And I don't know these times I wouldn't be surprised if that includes entrances either, because
especially for this match.
Because it's the Ascension. Remember how big they were in NXT? They were a big tag team in NXT, and then they come to WWE, and they're just shoved into these weirds. We just need a tag team to eat a pinfall, so just shove the Ascension out there and
Well, the Ascension were big in NXT, but their matches were shorter than 3 minutes, and they usually just killed whoever was in there. It worked, but it was it was short.
Yeah, but then you get the Money in the Bank ladder match to clearly wrap up the show for the men's title with AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Dolph Ziggler, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Baron Corbin. in the match, and it's a pretty good ladder match. It was safe.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, not a spot fest, which is fine. You don't need them to be every time.
Yeah, Owens took some hard bumps.
Yeah,
but
he took some really stiff shots.
And Sammy looked pretty good. I thought he looked like really going for it rather than underdogging it too much. And and Baron Corbin winning, like, it was what I figured would happen.
Yeah,
I think so. It happened. It happened, and I went, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big Baron Corbin fan. Like, he hasn't done anything to really win me over yet, but I'm not upset that he's sort of like, he's the kind of wrestler that needs the Money in the Bank briefcase.
For sure.
A lot of those other guys in that match don't need the briefcase. They can get a title shot whenever they need to, when the WWE deems them to, but this is a quick solution to get Baron Corbin into the main event picture when they need him there. So, you know, and that's what a lot of the Money in the Bank stuff is. Like, we need, like, we want him in the main event picture. This is a quick solution to shove him in there. We need him in there, like, without having any sort of serious build or anything. Like, you're always going to be Mr. Money in the Bank until you cash it in. So you're already sort of main event with still wrestling on the mid card, because that's how. I mean, that's what's good with that. Like, AJ Styles is always going to be main event. Like, you know, Shinsuke Nakamura has still worked himself up the ranks in WWE, and it hasn't exactly been working well, but
that was just a fantastic standoff. I mean, people were
like,
I saw the GIFs floating around for that thing over and over for like the whole week. I loved it.
That was the most exciting moment of the entire card, to see that in a WWE ring, just those two standing face to face as adversaries in the middle of the ring was super exciting.
That's the special attraction part of Nakamura that they're missing. Like, who's he gonna fight next? It's AJ. It's that, you know, anticipation for him to go one-on-one with somebody. You know, he shouldn't be in multi-man tags. Like, forget it. Like,
no, it's a weird like, you know, this was in his career his first ladder match. You know, like like WWE is throwing him into, like, this is what the American wrestling is to us. So you're going to have weird tag team matches and ladder matches and stuff. So it's not just going to be what you do anymore. Like, you know, the single strong style wrestling isn't who you are in wrestling right now.
So weird, though.
You know,
like, so weird.
So weird. Like, it was a good, like, they did do the jump him, have Baron jump him out the gate. So, like, you take him out of the first part of the match, which really sort of got Baron good heat. You know,
take away the entrance.
You kind of knew that Nakamura was coming back, and when he came back, it was a big moment. And, you know, even having his music hit was a good touch. Like, like, so it was good. And you know, he came back and really showed some good, you know, talent. So to the crowd, so it was good. He like cleared the ring. You know, that was a good moment. Like,
with hard shots and good shots, and you know, made him look special.
Yeah, made him look like the attraction that he really is supposed to be. So so that was, it's, you know, they're figuring him out still, and it's worrisome, but hopefully it comes together for him, because he really is one of the, you know, like, he needs to be a cornerstone. Like, he is somebody that will get you worldwide appeal and is, you know, a tremendous talent. So it's somebody important for them to figure out real fast. So
especially when you're dealing with great matches like the one that just happened at Dominion. That was a smooth segue.
Good ching.
Yeah, we had the rematch Okada and Omega. I didn't watch it yet. I'm gonna get it. I'll probably get around it this weekend. But I heard so it was a draw, right? It ended up. It was a 60-minute, just brutal match, and they've managed, from everything I've heard, they've managed to top the January event. January.
It is. It is between. It is the better match of the two. Like, the original match is phenomenal, and this one's better. And wrestling lingo, Dolly, it's a 60-minute Broadway.
60-minute Broadway. Thank you. I'm gonna write this down. I'm learning every day. A 60-minute Broadway. Okay, got it. Yeah,
you gotta learn Carney, man.
I gotta learn. Well, I'm looking through like the highlights. That's all I was able to actually catch up for the for this before we recorded. But just some of the things, like there was, it looked like there were some absolutely incredible moments, towards the end.
Oh, it was just.
So that first match, it was moment after moment. That first match, they started off kind of slow, and I'm guessing to happen again this match. They have kind of the where they kind of set themselves up, and then they really go at it. But it's from everything I saw after that, it was just chaos, and it just
kept escalating and kept escalating.
Okay.
The story that they keep telling with Okada and Omega is so phenomenal. Like Okada is just throwing, Omega is throwing everything he can at Okada, and he can't get that victory. Just cannot. It's heartbreaking. Like he throws everything he can to get that title that he's been trying so hard to get, and just can't do it. Like finishing moves, variations of finishing moves. No matter what he does, it doesn't work out. It's just
because there was that rumor of him leaving New Japan, right? And then they kind of hung around.
It was after the January 4th Tokyo Dome show. He did sort of leave. Like he didn't know. Like there was sort of he thought about going to other places. Show up in other places. And he did stuff, but there was never any doubt in anyone's mind. Like New Japan is his home. Like. It's where he belongs. It's where he needs to stay. Like, and it's good for him to be there especially for Western audiences, because he really is the sort of like he's the guy that can get you in there, because it's kind of crappy that it's that way. But if it was just all Japanese wrestlers, it would be harder for the American audiences to like get into it, or like a Western audience to really get into New Japan. But he's sort of like he's a face that you can. Like that's like he is the American representative in New Japan Pro Wrestling kind of situation. And, putting on, what did Meltzer give it? 6.25 stars?
Something like that, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was a 6-star match for the January 4 show, and it was 6.25 this time. So it's always fun when he does that stuff, because you can tell he's doing it just to work the internet over, because he knows full well that it's going to just irritate the hell out of people that he's doing that. But he's also making a point that this is a match that you have to watch.
Yeah, totally.
As a wrestling fan, you have to watch that match. It is absolutely fantastic, and is a perfect representation of what a wrestling match can still be in this modern era of wrestling. So
I have to admit,
it's a must watch. Track down.
Yeah, I have to admit I haven't watched them myself either, except for a few clips. The best clip that I saw, though,
it's you have to commit to it.
Yeah, you have to commit to
it. My favorite clip was one where Okada, I believe, was going to deliver the Rainmaker, right, on Omega, and he comes at him with the big clothesline, and Omega just kind of crumples, and he misses it, and he just kind of he's so tired and so beat up. And
they're so drained.
Like just that one clip told the story. It's pretty great.
You watch that match and you get exhausted. Just these two guys throwing everything they can at each other. So,
which is, you look at that, and then you look at Money in the Bank, and Money in the Bank seemed like the guys were just didn't. A lot of the matches, like folks didn't even seem like they were really into it. Like the wrestlers themselves, it's like, okay, I'm just gonna go do my job and then leave and go go home for the night. But great match. We already have 2 incredible contenders for our awards at the beginning of next year, so we'll have to. It may be a battle between these two. So great.
Yeah, it's like what's gonna be the best? What's gonna be match of the year? Okada Omega 1 or Okada Omega 2?
Right.
And it could be a 3 before the end of the year.
Yeah, it could be a 3. Yeah.
Oh, they're well, I mean, think about let's see. So the first match was January, and so we just had this match. So 6 months later is when you finally get your rematch. So you may not get the third one this year.
You may not get it. Yeah.
I mean, and that's damn good storytelling too. Like it's like, could you imagine WWE doing anything with 6-month booking involved? Like,
because Omega wasn't even getting like high card booking. He was getting sort of middling, you know, not great booking. So it was interesting to see Okada just grab the mic. I guess that's how it took place, right? He grabs the mic. He goes, "I want Omega. Let's do it. Round 2."
Yeah, that's it. It's good. It's great too because I've been watching a lot of old TNA because I hate myself, I guess. I don't know. But you know, Okada had like a brief stint in TNA, and it was just so miserable. To, like,
wow.
Like, man, it's hard to think that like within just a handful of years, Okada would be like the best wrestler in the world. Like, Omega gets a lot of the credit, but Okada really is probably my favorite performer in professional wrestling right now. Like, you can put on like, despite the sadness of what his match against Shibata was great, despite it ending his career with the headbutt, but that match is phenomenal too. And like he's just like, you know, tier 1. Like, it is just, there are very few wrestlers as good as him in the world right now. So it's very exciting to see him on top of their game too. So
totally. And you mentioned like this is something that you know, wrestling fans and even like the casual wrestling fans need to watch this. I mean, it's you can watch both of them because you'll get exhausted, but you'll learn what great wrestling is.
And you don't really need to like know the background. Like, they do a lot of storytelling in the ring itself that's more than enough to sort of become emotionally invested in these two's feud. Like, just like the first match alone is enough storytelling for the second match. Like, that's really all you need. You don't need to know any of the Bullet Club stuff or any of that stuff. You just need to watch the first match and to be fully invested in the rematch. Like, even knowing the outcome of the second match, there will be moments in there where you get disappointed, like near falls and stuff. So,
speaking of storytelling, ready. Glow has been released. Glow, the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, the TV series that we kind of mentioned a few weeks back, is now out on Netflix. The full season. I think there's 12 or 13 episodes. But it tells a story of Glow, kind of a semi realistic, somewhat fictional in some aspects. I'm through an episode and a half, my wife and I. And John, you said you're through 5 episodes. Without spoiling anything, if you're already through 5 and the show literally just came out yesterday, something tells me you're maybe enjoying it.
Yeah, a little bit. It's certainly one of those. I mean, I think the total number of episodes is 10. So
10. I'm sorry, 10.
Yeah, so I think it's a bingeable kind of a show, and I just put it on last night after Peter went to bed, and Wanda took an early night too. So it was my opportunity just to crank a few out, and nice. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So. Just the show itself, just so if anybody's wondering, because Wanda was asking me about it after I was telling her about it a bit. It's not to be confused with the actual Glow show from back in the 80s, and it's also not to be confused with the Glow documentary that's also on Netflix. This is an original show that's sort of a dramatization or comedization of the development of the Glow show. So. That it's the women who become the characters of Glow, how they kind of get there, how they train, how they kind of have their inner relationships between each other and the director and the producer, and like how do they create this what was a bit of a phenomenon back in the day, the Glow and the Glow wrestling show. So yeah, I mean it's very funny and charming, and I like the performances. I think my favorite person on the show is actually is Awesome Kong. She.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Not in there all the time, but when she's on screen, boy, she really chews it up. And I mean, some of that I'm sure has to do with with her experience, in wrestling, and it's a very comfortable subject matter for her to kind of explore, or space to explore. But I find that she kind of really, shines whenever she's on there.
Yeah. Out the gate, I mean, the Awesome Kong gimmick was basically just a ripoff of a Glow gimmick anyways. Like, so just kind of fits right in there. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And the wrestling itself, it's taking from that style of wrestling, women's wrestling back then. Though there's some references to certain moves that kind of hit me as a nitpick, like talking about moonsaults and these kinds of things. And I don't know how many moonsaults were going on back in the mid '80s, at the time. But there's lots of I won't spoil who's in the show, but there's some other cameos by other wrestlers as well. Kind of fun to see. The Alison Brie character is pretty good. I like her trying to figure out. A lot of the show are the individual women figuring out pro wrestling. So she's trying to figure out why the heck would she want to care about what she's doing here, and how it's done and how dangerous it can be. But how do you get there?
So it's structurally set up. I mean, it's from the creators or some of the producing of Orange is the New Black, right? And it's similar for anybody that's watched Orange is the New Black. It's a fantastic show. It's similarly structured in that, it starts off with Alison Brie's character kind of getting introduced in that first episode, and you think the show is going to be strictly about her as this kind of struggling actress, but it does kind of start to shift to the perspectives of the different female wrestlers on there, and it's just the first episode and a half that I've watched, and I'm sure the 5 that you've watched, just terrific storytelling. I mean, it really keeps you glued to to the kind of the overall plot at hand. And I'm my wife is enjoying it, and she's a big fan of Orange is the New Black, and we're kind of tag teaming this and Orange is the New Black at the same time, so we're kind of hopping back and forth. She enjoys it from just the storytelling side and the characters, and I enjoy it because of more of the historical wrestling aspect. And I would love to see. We kind of talked about this in the past about getting wrestling in front of people in kind of the pop culture new and unique ways, right? They had we talked about lucha being more of the scripted kind of fun stuff. There are some documentaries out there. I mean, there was a Glow documentary back in like 2012 or something that actually kind of helped launch this show, surprisingly. You've had the ESPN stuff, the XFL, and then you have the Ric Flair thing coming, and also debuting yesterday was the Hulk Hogan Gawker Netflix documentary, which I totally forgot about, but that debuted yesterday, so I'm gonna have to watch that as well. But there's been this kind of new resurgence, and NBC is working with Will Ferrell and someone else to create a wrestling show. So it's really interesting to see how it's sort of made its way back into pop culture. I think it's kudos to what Vince and the McMahon family and WWE have done with like WWE Network, which started to get some of that backlog of sort of classic wrestling, but then mix in new shows and get the good faces in front.
Every review that you see of that show is sort of touching on that part of it. Like, this is a good way of getting wrestling in front of eyes that don't watch wrestling. Like, you tag it along with it being, from the creators of Orange is the New Black. Like, that's a good selling point in and among itself. And then, it helps, it's a female-led TV series, like that's a big deal too.
How interesting. I'm curious to see what an effect something like this show could have on like the women's division in WWE, because for all intents and purposes, if this takes off as anywhere near what Orange is the New Black did, then it's women's wrestling may gain some really big interest in the US.
Definitely.
You would hope so, like, because even if it's kind of a comedy and stuff, they at least it's like they do their best to treat everything about Glow with respect, even though it was this campy, like, kind of schmaltzy wrestling show back in the 80s and stuff. So it's you could treat it with as much respect as it sort of treated itself, at least. So
yeah, the message you get from the show is that it's schmaltzy and stuff, but it has good intentions. Even I mean, the style of the director who makes the show, he has a background in that kind of real, just campy, gory kind of movie making, and now he's trying to make this wrestling thing fly. But he has, as he talks about the scenarios between various wrestlers he wants them to perform, he's kind of explaining, well, this is real stereotypical, person A versus person B, but it's a commentary on something in America. Like he has. It's all well intentioned, even though it's on the surface it's all TNA.
Yep.
It's also really funny that that's sort of like there's not much wrestling stuff out there that shows you how the sausage is made.
Yes, exactly.
To see them sort of do like a dramatization of booking wrestling is always super interesting. So
yeah, they don't get into too much of the real inner minutia of how wrestling is done, but they throw out terms like babyface and heel and stuff and attacking the mat and this little terminology that you don't really hear on.
So it is sort of educational in a weird way, right?
A little bit. Yeah.
You could never go full like Carney speak, but they do a good job.
Yeah.
I've seen. I actually started the series legitimately, so it's
Well, they started on a pretty good foot of getting into some of that inner minutia again, but they kind of have to figure it on their own as the show goes on a little bit more and more. Yeah,
sure. Well, I'm looking forward to it. We may have to do a full kind of recap once we finish watching the series. That could be fun. We get into our summer blockbusters.
News that we didn't touch down on that I think is kind of important.
Yes.
Last night, Ring of Honor.
Oh, what was that? They had a pay-per-view.
Ring of Honor Best in the World.
Okay.
The main event was Christopher Daniels versus Cody Rhodes for the championship, where Cody Rhodes is the Ring of Honor World Champion right now. So it's a pretty big. It was the first time a Rhodes has been World Champion in 30 years. So
right, it's true.
So there you go. I thought that was really cool that Cody Rhodes out there making a name for himself.
Yeah.
Good.
Except it's just Cody. It's not Cody Rhodes.
It's just Cody.
Yeah.
After his sort of fallout with the WWE.
Yeah, Cody and Brandy Rhodes.
Yeah.
She can use Rhodes.
But she can use Rhodes.
She can use it. Yeah.
But so it was cool. It's a good match to watch. Like.
Did you watch the whole show?
It's a Ring of Honor match through and through. Christopher Daniels is still great despite his sort of. He's up there nowadays as a wrestler and he's been around for so long, but it's a good match. So well worth seeing.
Okay.
Just for the history of it, at least.
Just for the history of it. A couple more quick little notes here. Morrow is back with NXT.
Yeah, I was happy to hear about that. I mean,
be back at some point, but
yeah. I mean, that puts Morrow and Nigel on the announced list on NXT now. I think I'm not sure if Percy's still around, but I think it's just Morrow and Nigel. So that's a pretty good team. I have very little problem with that.
Yeah, it's good to have him back. That's for sure. Yep. And a couple video gamey things. E3 was last week, so I wanted to touch on two really kind of quick stories. Fire Pro Wrestling, which is something that we've been sort of keeping our eye on, is arriving July 11th, July 10 on Steam Early Access. So feel free to get all over that.
Steam is the absolute 100% perfect platform for Fire Pro Wrestling. It is that is what that franchise is made for, sharing the stuff that you create and the scenarios and stuff, and with Steamworks and stuff like that is absolutely the perfect platform for it. And it sounds like, from what I hear, it's just built off of Fire Pro Wrestling Returns.
Oh yeah. So yes. Okay.
So that's a very solid
Fire Pro Wrestling world.
If you have a PlayStation 3, you can download Fire Pro Wrestling Returns on it. All right, so like $20.
If you still have one.
And so it's, if you still have a PlayStation 3 hooked up somewhere, like so.
Yeah.
and for that because it has card
Yeah.
USB ports, so you can load stuff from websites onto it. So real nice that way.
Sure. And then the last little bit of gaming
or
news,
you can just get it on Steam when it comes out. And just
get it on Steam.
Quick and easy.
I'm hopeful. Yeah. That's where I'll be getting it. Last quick little bit of gaming-ish news on over the E3 week. A few of WWE stars were on Giant Bombcast. So you had guys like Samoa Joe. Yeah, the late night shows. And it was brought up that Clash of Clans sort of took over the WWE locker room for like a solid 6-7 months there, and to the point where guys like Cena had their own they were kind of running the certain clans within the group, and if you weren't abiding by their clan rules, they would take it out on you in the ring. I thought that was fantastic.
Get a little stiff shot for not pulling your weight in the clan here.
That's right. Didn't take your turn in the war. You're getting the real knuckle shuffle.
Like you can really see Cena giving you the stink eye too for not holding up your end of this bargain. You can just really picture that. I highly recommend finding that on Giant Bomb's YouTube channel. That segment with Joe and Xavier, because it is super entertaining from start to finish. I like seeing Samoa Joe as just a dude, just a chilled guy, just having some fun with some friends.
Yeah, totally. Completely opposite of what we of how they build. But I think it's great. So that's good. That's it was a fun segment. It was a fun, and they were all over the show because I kept kind of running into folks. Not literally running into them, but I kept seeing them as sort of 10 feet away from me playing games and stuff. And they were fans there. It was really kind of cool to see. I mean, even Big Show moderated a panel on that Monday or Tuesday there, and then he kind of floated around the show a little bit. And you had a lot of the younger guys were there, and they all grew up playing games just like us. So this generation of the WWE is basically the gamer generation. They grew up on PS1s and PS2s, so it's kind of a cool. I think that's one of the reasons why gaming has really taken a liking to the gaming industry, and gamers have taken this strong liking to wrestling, because there's the technology is there. Yep,
is in the same realm of who we are.
Yes,
who you are. Yeah.
And
good job being at E3 with a couple of wrestlers, Dolly, and not getting anyone on the show.
I know. Sorry about that, guys. I'll make up for it next year. With that, definitely want to thank you guys for an excellent show. You had a good almost an hour here. The fun crew is back, and we'll have more of these. We'll kind of figure out the schedule over the next few weeks here, and we'll keep these rocking and go from there. So thank you, everybody.
I'm going to a wrestling show on Thursday where the main event is Cody Rhodes versus Pentagon, and I'm super, super excited.
You mean the champ, Cody Rhodes?
Yeah. The champ, Ring of Honor champion, Cody Rhodes.
You should wear a shirt that says former SQW champ. We'll make those shirts, former SQW champ.
That way when we go, I'll make a sign, even though I think it's not really filmed that way.
Yeah, that should be a sweet show. I've been telling everybody who will listen that I met Tito Santana just last night, and Eugene, super nice guys. They were very cordial and listened to me yammer at them about different things, and had great answers for me when they didn't brush me off at all. So yeah, top guys.
Tito was such a cool dude. Watching him wrestling, I grew up. He was one of my absolute favorites in the 80s and early 90s. So
Tito. I asked Tito what he thought about wrestling. So go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying. For whatever reason, I remember Jesse Ventura calling him Chico Santana, and that's all I ever call him that.
And the flying jalapeno. Yeah, Tito told me that I asked him what he thought about wrestling today, and especially the cruiserweights, just because he was he was a big guy, obviously, but he was a smaller guy in a giant land of the giants sort of thing, and his style was a little lighter than the other guys, and he said that the guys today really work hard, they really try hard, but he thinks that back in the day they were better quote unquote wrestlers. telling the story with less flash and less, less is more kind of thing. But he does appreciate that they work hard.
The sort of telling a story in the ring has sort of been a lost tradition. Like most wrestling matches these days in WWE are just scripted dances.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's not like, Okada Omega. That is storytelling in the ring. That is slow it down and then slowly work your way up to the fast pace, but while telling a story at the same time is hard to do. Especially when you don't get much time. Wrestling matches aren't that long anymore. Your typical, like the Money in the Bank ladder match was a half an hour, and that's because it had 6 guys in it. Like, like stuff doesn't really, like, matches used to regularly go, 45 minutes, or whatever. You don't have time to shine anymore, despite having a 3-hour show every Monday, every Tuesday. Nobody has time to wrestle. So.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, a 3-minute match in the 80s was a squash match, and that was intended to get a guy over and make him and showcase him a little bit. When the real match came along, they got time. So we're in a day and age where competitive matches between names is commonplace. So it's tough to make that same connection with 3 minutes. Yeah. But anyway, I digress.
We digress. Anyways, everybody, thank you. Really. Glad we were able to chat, to catch up. We'll have more fun stuff over the next few weeks. You can find us at SQW. Is it SQW Podcast?
Yes, it is.
Twitters. It's been so long. You can find us individually. I'm at Dolly Domofsky. John, where can they find you?
At John Kehoe. That's spelled JONKEHOE.
All right. JJ?
_double_letter J.
And check us out, sidequesting.com. I think it's we're floating around there somewhere. iTunes, rate and review us. And we will see you all on the next SQW.
Cheers.
You went smooth there.